I'm Kareem Johnson.
And I'm Chris Hackles.
In this newscast, a recap of the 2009 homecoming events.
Med school researchers edge closer to an H1N1 vaccine as student cases increase.
Pius Library goes 24 hours.
And women's volleyball and soccer teams continue their winning ways.
And what you can expect for the upcoming weekend weather.
All this and more on SLU News 22.
Thank you for joining us. The big story this week is homecoming. SLU students and alumni have come from all over to participate in a yearly tradition here at SLU.
Events kicked off on Friday evening with the Student Activities Board sponsored concert with Eric Hutchinson, with opening acts The Maine and Sam and Ruby on the Georgetown lot behind Grizzadek Hall.
The annual homecoming golf cart parade was on Saturday at 6 p.m. led by Father Biondi.
Earlier in the day, the Public Interest Law Group hosted the PILG Ambulance Chase, 5K run and 3K walk at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Kareem Johnson sat down with race organizer Anna Bischoff on Thursday to explain the race.
It started out very small and just really for students and alumni to get to know each other and reconnect and network. And then it turned into a fundraising opportunity or a way to raise money for the summer stipend fund to help students.
The festivities continued with an Aaron Bodie concert at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Men's soccer took on Tulsa at Herman Stadium at 7:30 Saturday. Find out more about the outcome of that match later on in sports.
The match also had a fireworks extravaganza during halftime. Alumni had Mass in the St. Francis Xavier College Church at 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning and capped off the festivities with a brunch with the Billiken. Another event on Saturday night was the crowning of the homecoming court. Chief Meteorologist David Keller is with us now for a look at first weather. David, we've got a little bit of rain, a little bit of warm this past weekend. What about the week ahead?
Well, for the week ahead, we are expecting a very strong cold front to come through on Monday. That means much cooler temperatures and a very gradual warm-up. However, we do see more rain in the forecast for later this week. We'll talk about that coming up in our full forecast in a little bit.
Thanks, David. You might have noticed last Thursday evening at about 5:12 p.m. a fire alarm in the Bush Student Center. That fire alarm was caused by steam coming from a boiling pot. It set off those alarms. However, there was no fire. Later that night at 8:25, the DPS also reported a fire alarm, but again, thankfully, there was no fire in the building.
When we come back, SLU researchers are making gains to develop a vaccine for H1N1 swine flu. More SLU News 22 after the break, so stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Researchers at the Center for Vaccine Development are testing a vaccine for the H1N1 swine flu pandemic. Jonathan Ernst with the University News reports that the vaccine is part of a nationwide clinical trial sponsored by the National Institutes of Health. The center is currently in the process of enrolling 20 pregnant women in their second and third trimester in the 18 to 39 age group and following up on individuals that have received the first round of vaccinations in the trial. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the vaccine for one dose for people aged 10 or older. The vaccine will be purchased by the federal government and distributed without charge.
This comes as the student population at SLU with H1N1 continues to climb, with more than 339 people with symptoms consistent with the virus, 49 confirmed cases in that number. You are encouraged to contact student health and counseling at 314-977-2323 if you are experiencing flu-like symptoms. The SHC is reminding students who have been diagnosed you should not return to regular activities until you're fever-free for 24 hours without the use of fever-reducing medication such as Tylenol or Advil.
This week, the Student Government Association will host their first town hall meeting of the school year on Thursday night in the Wool Ballroom of the Bush Student Center. President Michael Harris says that this week's town hall will focus mostly on the uses of the student activity fee, a $45 charge on every student's account. Unlike past town hall meetings, the Thursday night's event will not be attended by university administrators, being solely run by the SGA, with Senate members seated at tables throughout the room to get feedback from students.
Financial Vice President Robert Maley will begin the night with a presentation on the student activity fee, an information session for all students. President Harris said he wants students to understand how the money is used and where the money goes. Recently, the SGA determined that since it is for on-campus activities, they would reduce funding for off-campus travel to conferences and events. After passing that resolution, the Senate contradicted themselves by passing a bill fully funding a women's club soccer trip to Chicago. President Harris vetoed that bill, and last week the Senate easily upheld the veto following their standards originally set. But the veto confusion only magnifies the need to discuss the student activity fee. It is strongly encouraged that students attend the SGA Town Hall meeting this Thursday, October 1st at 7 o'clock in the Wool Ballrooms at the Bush Student Center.
Pastor 12 Memorial Library is getting expanded hours. The library will now be open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, starting Sunday, October 4th, and those hours will run through December 15th. Providing 24/5 access to the Pius Library is a collaborative effort between the university libraries, the Department of Public Safety, the Facilities Department, including housekeeping, student development, and the Student Government Association. You can find the new hours on the library's website, libraries.slu.edu.
In more library news, Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. in the Père Marquette Gallery in DeBerg Hall, the university libraries will receive a rare leaf from the Gutenberg Bible, which is valued at over $70,000. Thomas and Virginia Cahill's gift represents one of the most valuable single items ever given to the university libraries in the history of St. Louis University. The leaf was printed in Mainz, Germany around 1452 or 1453. The Gutenberg Bible was the first book printed in Western Europe using movable type. And that event at 3 o'clock on Monday is open to the entire SLU community.
In the national scene, the prominent conservative speechwriter, columnist, and language expert William Safire has died at age 79 in a hospice in Maryland from cancer, his assistants told the Associated Press on Sunday. Mr. Safire was a longtime columnist on the op-ed page of the New York Times, writing over 3,000 columns.
When we come back, Google is having a birthday.
A cool forecast overnight, a low of 55 degrees with breezy conditions, winds turning out of the west and northwest, falling temperatures tomorrow. I'll tell you more about that in the full forecast coming up here in a little bit.
Welcome back to SLU News 22. David's going to take a look at the long-range forecast, and you said earlier on that there's going to be rain later on in the week. So when is that going to be, and how am I going to avoid it?
Well, it is going to be later this week, but it does at this point look like the rain will be hitting at overnight. But first, we have some beautiful weather to talk about. Sunday afternoon, we did see a high temperature of 82 degrees here at SLU. That is above our average high of 76 degrees. It's getting close to that record of 90 we set back in 1998. However, we do not see any record-setting temperatures in the near forecast. Sunday afternoon temperatures were in the low 80s and upper 70s across the area. Off to our south and west, it was much warmer. Some areas across Texas and Oklahoma got close to 100 degrees on Sunday afternoon. But off to our north and west, you can see the next change in the weather pattern. These cooler temperatures are associated with this cold front and the area of low pressure. Now, that low pressure is kicking off some showers and thunderstorms across the northern plains. However, as it moves in our direction, we will have very dry air in place, so that means we're not expecting any showers or thunderstorms. However, Sunday night into Monday, as that cold front pushes through, we will be seeing dropping temperatures and much cooler temperatures. But Sunday afternoon, we should see sunny skies. So here is your forecast for overnight, Sunday night into Monday. A low temperature of 55 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds picking up, so it'll be rather breezy. Sunday morning when you wake up, a low temperature of 55 degrees. By noontime, temperatures should have warmed up a little bit to 61 degrees with partly cloudy skies and those breezy winds out of the west-northwest continuing. Sunday afternoon, we should see a high temperature of 67 degrees, so much cooler than we've seen for the past few days. Breezy winds out of the northwest, and by Monday evening, temperatures will be falling back to 63 degrees. So here is the rest of your 7-day forecast. For Monday, once again, a high temperature of 67 degrees, cooling off even a bit more on Tuesday with a high of 66. A warming trend begins on Wednesday with a high of 72. On Thursday, a high of 74. Another cold front does move through, and that brings us our next chance of showers and thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday. Temperatures dropping back into the 60s on Friday and Saturday. And we see another warming trend beginning by the end of next weekend.
Okay, thank you, David. Google is having a very special birthday. The web search giant has turned 11 years old. The logo on the page has 2 L's or an 11, depending on how you look at it.
The exact date of birth for Google, if you will, is somewhere between September 7th and September 27th. The company filed its papers to become a California corporation on September 4th.
The company posted a page a few years ago stating that, quote, Google opened its doors in September of 1998. The exact date when we celebrate our birthday has moved around over the years, depending on when people feel like having cake, unquote. We'll have to guess that today is probably Cake Day. We'll be right back with sports. Stay with us.
Welcome back to SLU News 22. In sports, the women's volleyball team extended their win streak to 5 games with a conference victory over Fordham on Saturday. The Billikens swept the Rams and advanced to 9-5 on the season, and SLU remains ranked number 23 in the country. The Billikens now have a 3-game homestand at Shea Fitz Arena. SLU takes on Duquesne on Friday, followed by games against George Washington and Charlotte next weekend.
The Billikens men's soccer team has started the season with a disappointing 3-4 record, but put on quite a show at the homecoming game this past Saturday. After scoring twice in the first 8 minutes, SLU let Tulsa take the lead back, then tied the game to send it into overtime. Unfortunately for the Bills, Tulsa scored in double overtime to beat St. Louis 4-3 in front of nearly 5,000 Billiken fans for the homecoming weekend festivities. The men's team hosts UMKC this week on Wednesday and Clemson on Saturday.
For the women's soccer team, it's all about defense. The Lady Billikens have recorded 3 straight shutouts and 5 shutouts this season. But last weekend, the Bills weren't able to get any help from the offense. SLU played LaSalle to a scoreless draw in the first game of conference play, which put the Bills at 3-4-2 on the season. SLU hosts Massachusetts Friday night at Hermann Stadium, then hosts Rhode Island Sunday afternoon.
The men's basketball team recently released the 2009-2010 schedule for the season and had some breaking news for Billiken basketball. The season opens with an exhibition on October 30th at Chaffetz Arena, and the regular season begins on November 14th with Southeast Missouri State. SLU's new schedule includes games against Nebraska, Georgia, and Belmont, and the conference schedule includes home games against Xavier, Dayton, and Temple. SLU basketball is looking forward to what should be an exciting year, and the Blue Crew is accepting new members for the season.
In the NFL last weekend, the hometown Rams dropped to 0-3, but the Detroit Lions picked up their first win in almost 2 years. It was a 19-14 victory at home over the Washington Redskins. For the Rams, St. Louis will return home in 2 weeks as Brett Favre and his Minnesota Vikings visit the Edward Jones Dome.
In NCAA football, 3 of the top 6 teams fell last weekend. Number 4 Ole Miss lost to South Carolina on Friday. Number 5 Penn State was upset at home by Iowa. And number 6 California was demolished by Oregon 42-3. Florida State, North Carolina, and Washington also fell this weekend, making a great Saturday for upsets.
David is back now for one final look at weather.
Yeah, we can expect some cooler temperatures to start off this week. 67 degrees on Monday, 66 on Tuesday. Slight warming towards Thursday and Friday. However, another cold front comes through Thursday night, dropping our temperatures back below seasonal normals for next weekend.
All right, well, that is SLU News 22 for this week. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you right back here next week.
We leave you tonight with scenes from the homecoming fireworks display.